important, and then how to use them. Then we can now progress to how to use macros, how to use VBA. So what exactly is advanced Excel? Advanced Excel is just the use of complex formulas, to query data. You use complex formula to query data and get information from data and cause data to bind themselves together and give you the information that you need. So advanced Excel skills involve a deeper understanding and use of various features and tools that enhances data analysis, visualization, and management works capacity. And what are the things we are going to be doing in advanced Excel? The first and most important thing is going to be the use of the if function. If function is one of the most important functions in advanced Excel. An if function can do a lot of things. It is a conditional function. Try to find out what will happen if certain conditions are available. So if function is used to query a data and ask a data are certain conditions available in the database. And if those conditions are available, the if function can help you to fetch those conditions and give you information. So this is the beginning of advanced Excel. If you say you know advanced Excel, you must know how to use the if function properly. So we are going to start with very simple ones, and please pay attention. We'll be coming back to our presentation. Now let's open an Excel sheet and see how the if function works. So if you want to use an if function, remember that you want to query a data. You want to query a data to ask the data if certain information are available in that data, or if certain condition can be met in that data. We are going to create additional conditions. Let's assume we have a condition of, let's say this is data for January, and this is for February. Of course, if I write January in full, right, and I write February in full, and I write March in full, I can actually drag to get other months, right? And then we can do our conditional format, our if function as a remark. So please watch. I'm going to start with the basic if function characteristic. Let's assume that I want to random these numbers. I don't want them to repeat themselves. So what I can do to, let's say here is a loss. They spent only 25,000. I want to pick the data in a different way. I want to stagger the data, right? Let's see, I'm going to do this. Just pick them randomly, paste, and then paste because of what I want to achieve. Pick randomly here, here. And paste in March. Okay. We're trying to develop a database that we can query. Okay, let me stop here because in the interest of time. Now, this database we have, we want to query it and tell it to give us a function. We can see, okay, if the sum, you can use if to start. If in brackets, can tell you that if in brackets the sum of everything here, comma, is greater than 1 million. Sum of it is greater than 10 million, or let's say 5 million. Then you have to do something. The sum is greater than 5 million. Then what do you do? So let me put another question mark here. Another opening bracket here. So you now tell it what to do. So before I do this, I need to explain certain things to you. When you use an if function, the first thing you do, you put an equals to sign, and then you introduce if. You can do it capital letter, small letter, or a combination of them, but it must be the word if. Now, when you do that, the next thing you are doing is to tell it the condition. The condition. You can even say if the average is this, if January, February, and March is this. So you can give it a condition. We can decide to say, okay, average. You say the average of the whole of this number should be greater than 1 million. Then that is a condition. After the condition, you put a comma, and then you tell us what result, if the condition is true, what result will it bring out? You can say pass or profitable, or you can take otherwise, not profitable. And then you close. So when you do this, then there should be additional brackets. We have average of, okay, we need to close the bracket here, of this is greater than this. Then we close the bracket here because we are using a function inside the function. Then take this. If not, then take this. Introduce the last equal to sign. So here, 1000, right? So it works. So I will do a more simpler one. So here we are telling that if the average of all these cells is greater than 1 million, then it should be profitable. If it is not, then it's unprofitable. So you can drag this down and see if the condition are met in all cases. So the condition is met in all cases. And then you can decide to increase the outcome. You can say if it is greater than 2 million, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then it should also perform that. Then you drag down. See, this time around it's unprofitable. Then some are profitable, not profitable, profitable, not profitable. But you can do more than one condition inside the if function. So you can use the if function in another way. Let's say, for example, now you can say, okay, if 3 of the months are greater than something, then it should be profitable. Let's say, for example, now if we have 3 of the months to have a turnover of above 500, then we say it's profitable. Look at how to do that. The first thing you can start to say the if in brackets this guy is greater than 500,000. Then say profitable. Otherwise, you say not profitable. Right? And then it will tell you not profitable initially, right? But you don't want him to stop that. That is for January. You can come and put another if. You now say if in brackets, this guy here in February is greater than 500,000, right? Then we are now given another condition. It's greater than 500,000, then take it as what? Profitable. So instead of repeating all this, you can copy from here, right? And put it inside here as the first condition. Put as the first condition, right? So all of it will be, say it's profitable. But if it is not, then it will obey the next command, which is the next if, right? It will obey the next if, which is this if, and then you close it under bracket. So by so doing, you are telling him that until this one, even if this one is not up to 500, but this one is up to 500, say it is profitable. Then you can also add another if. You can say if, in bracket, the one in March is greater than 500,000, then still say that it is profitable. But if it is not, then obey the first command. So you can give different queries, and all you need to do is to put additional this in brackets, and then it will tell you. So if I come over in March and put 400,000, it will tell me that it's not profitable. Okay, because one of it is true. So this one is that at least one of it is true. But if here turns to 400, then it is not profitable. So here, do I have 500,000? It must be greater than 500,000 for it to be profitable. So if here turns to 500,000, then because these two are not up to 500,000, it's not profitable. So it obeys the most recent one, but it also obeys the condition of others. So, but the best way to use it is to define the information in such a way that each condition is dependent on another condition. Each condition is dependent on another condition. For example, now, you can say, okay, if January is 500, then February should be this. Then you can use the if function here. So the if function is very important in advanced Excel. Now let's see other ways you can use the if function apart from direct usage. This is a direct usage. You can combine it also with other things. Like here, we said, sorry please, we said that the if function, we said here that the if function, if and can be used. Can use and function to test multiple conditions simultaneously. Multiple conditions simultaneously. So what that means is that can use if and. So it means that you have more than one condition, but if any of the condition is met, it will be true. Let's see how that is done. You say if and then you bring in two conditions. Let's say you have if, and then in brackets, and then you have your condition, right? The first condition can be if this guy here, January, is greater than 500, comma, and then this guy here is less than 500, right? 500,000, 100,000. Then what do we do? You close the brackets. This is correct. Then take what? Profitable. Can use any other word. Or then take not profitable. The quotation mark here, and then there's a full stop here, supposed to be a comma. So with this now, it's telling you it's going to take any of the condition that is correct to predict, right? Any one that is correct. Because what we've told him is to look at more than one condition. We said if and. So where this is correct, it takes. Where this is correct, it takes. Right? Where both of them are wrong, let's say for example, it will take not profitable. And we say here is 400 to turn. So here the condition we are telling you is because we are saying if F2 is less than. So F2 now is less than, right? Less than 500,000. F2 is less than 500,000, while here F E2 is greater than 500,000. So if any of these conditions is met, it should be profitable. F2 at this point greater than 500,000 and E2 is greater than 500,000 and F2 is greater than 500,000. So F2 is less than 500,000, and in this case we see that F2 is less than 500,000. If we change it to 600,000, the condition will be not because the two conditions are not met. Two conditions are not met. We change it to 500,000, then it will be profitable to be okay. Let's see what we say there as the call. We say there that if F2 is greater, so if it is greater, it is less 300 to be not profitable. If it is greater than, let's say it is 500. So here is the law is that if E2 is greater than 500, then F2 is less than 500, then it should be what? Profitable. But if it is not, it's not profitable. So in this case now, let's see whether it meets it. Greater than 500, it's not greater than 500. Less than 500, it's not less than 500. So both conditions are not met, right? If both conditions are not met, it's not profitable. If one of the conditions is met, it is profitable. If two of the conditions are met, it is also profitable. For example now, this condition here is not met. Let's say it is 300,000. And then this one is 600,000. Both of them will, because both conditions are met. One condition is not met. Let's say it's 700,000. One condition is not met. Then two conditions are not met, 300,000. So if two of the conditions are not met, or one of the conditions is not met, it will be not profitable. But if both conditions are met, it will be profitable. Both conditions are met, it will be profitable. And both conditions being met means that E2 must be greater than 500, so it should be around 500,001, right? It is not still profitable until this one is correct. And that one is saying that it must be less than 500,000. All right, 500,000. So less than 500, let's say 4,999,999. Let's say 4, let's start 4 million. You see? So both conditions must be met. That is the AND function. Both conditions must be met. But if it is OR, you can also use the OR function. So you appreciate them. If it is OR function, it will not take one of them, right? If one of the condition is met, then it will be profitable. Let's say, for example, now this is now 600. It's still showing profitable. But if I change this to AND, what will you see? It will say not profitable. So it's telling you both conditions must be met if it is AND. It is OR, one condition must be met. If it is AND, both conditions must be met. It is OR, one condition must be met. So I change it back to OR now. So you have profitable if at least one of the conditions is met. So that is still in the if function. And then, what again can you use if function? We've talked about the OR, how you use it, and then not. If not function is used, then not function to reverse the result of a condition. If not condition, then the value. So let's see the not function now. When you put not, it will now reverse the condition. Just put not here, right? The condition will be reversed. So it is not to be just one value, then it's not profitable. So not cannot be, sorry, go back. I think not must have to use an exact value, not greater than or equal to. So not, when you are using not, you do not use greater than or equal to. It must be an exact value. If E2 is equal to, if F1 is equal to. But because they are not equal to, it will tell you not profitable. It will give you result that the answers are not equal to. But if we have here 500,000, until both of them are correct, then it will be okay. Our condition is saying that E2 must be 500,000 and F2 must be 500,000. Then if both of them, okay, it has changed, not here. Okay, later I will check why the not is not. It's like it doesn't have to work with two conditions. So not, it will just tell you because it is now giving you profit. But if this thing turns to 600, so I think this is not really very useful. That's where it's speaking. It's equal to 600, then it's still profitable. Then if it is 300, still showing profitable. So the not function, I won't advise you to always use it. We'll do a more study about it and see how that functions. So we go back to our table of if. So if not can also be used. If not, then A1 is not greater than 10. A1 is less or less. A1 is greater than 10. So you can use it, you can practice it and see how that works for you. Then we have another one. If with the text function, can incorporate text function like left, right, mid, len, etc. within an if function. We say if left a1 and 1 is equals to a. This starts the letter with a and does not start with what? A. So anyone that does not start with a will not come in. We can also use if with the error syntax. The error syntax just help you to make sure the message you are going to get, the result you are going to get is error free. Try to reduce the level of error in the formula to return a consume message or value if an error occurs. So if there's an error in the expression, if you use if error, so it helps you to see if there's an error in that. So if there's an error, it will bring back an error message. You say if error and you put the expression there, then the value of if error will come out. It will show you that there's an error or there's no error in the formula you have used. So, but as we progress in the use of this building, because the objective we want to achieve is at the end of the day we're able to build templates that has both macros and VBA, and then with combination of advanced Excel to be able to develop something we can use. So you will see how we'll be applying some of this. But if you have any question, please feel free to ask through the WhatsApp number. So quickly, because of our time, let's leave the if function. We have time to do more and go into some other function like the sum if there is a condition, then sum if product, count, and others. So let's deal with the sum if very quick. So sum if is also a very powerful tool that is used when you have a lot of data that you want to sum. Let's assume now I'm going to delete this because I do not need it. This is a lot of data and you want to sum up every data that has to deal with ABIA, right? You want to sum them up in another sheet. Maybe in a sheet here, let me clear out this sheet. And then I'll bring in, using data validation, I'm going to bring in all the states there. And I want to sum up everything that concerns them. So I go to the place I have the states, the summary, here. So I'll get all the states here. Some states are repeated, right? Then I'll click enter and I will data validate. So I can copy this down here and then I pick each of the states. ABIA. So I want to know the total value of ABIA in the database. So I can just take equals to sum if. I will use sum if. Then I will go to where I have the data. Then I will select um, the whole sheet if possible. Select the whole sheet. Doesn't really mean the whole data sheet. Then I will put a comma, and then I will tell him to look for Abia state or Abia and tell me from the data sheet what is the total value of Abia under running. All right. So all the Abias that did running during the period, to pick it up and give me the value. The total for Abia is minus this. And then it can do the same thing here. All I need to do is to absolute or make constant the areas I want the data to remain so that the data formula doesn't shift. So whenever you want to drag a formula and you don't want the formulas, the formula mapping to shift, you have to introduce $sign or constant inside the formula. So for example, if you double click here, you see that it's also picking B2, but B2 will change while other things will not change. So we'll not make B2 an absolute value. So we go to the sheet 3 here and we can absolute it. And what you need to do is just to click your function key in your keyboard and then you click F14, I guess, F14. Should it be F14? And you have this. You do the same thing to where the data sheet is ending or the data information is ending, F14, and then that's it. Then you go to where you want the answer to be picked, take F14, click F14. If you don't know how to click F14, just go at the center of it and a $sign. Let me say, for example, I didn't do the last one. Let me just go back. Control Z, right? Control Z. I want to put them manually. I don't know how to press F14. I'll come in between A and 2 and put a $sign. Just look for your $sign. Be sure where your $sign is and put a $sign there. Then you come over here, between P and 38, the $sign. So you put the $sign there. And then between this, you see, the $sign. So the $sign will be at the front and back of the letter, front and back of the letter, if you are doing it manually. What that does is that it helps you to make that particular cell constant. When you drag, the cell reference will not change. The cell reference will not change, right? That is the importance of that. The cell reference will not change. But if you don't do that, when you drag, the cell reference will change. So I can bring in other states now apart from Abia, Federal Capital Territory. And when I drag, I will get my results, right? So I drag, then I bring in others. Empty, there's an empty that is 150. So if you go to the data, you see maybe there are certain cells that are empty. So let's see. So I bring in Adamawa, and I bring in Anambra. So let's test one of the data. Let's select Anambra and see what Anambra has. Anambra, what's the total in running? We have 522, right? That's what it's doing. Let's see if we have empty, and why empty is having a value. Empty cell. There isn't any empty cell. Maybe there's a calculation that it's doing that is giving you empty here. So actually there's no empty cell. Or is there empty cell that we are not seeing? Okay, so that is exactly how to do sum if. But you can also do sum if with conditions. right? You can also use some if conditions and with product. So the product of two numbers can do some if with them. I'm going to leave that where as we continue because of time. I will show you how to do some if with condition, some if product in our subsequent class. Let's look at count. Count A, count if, and count blank. Count is a normal count. Count A is when you want to count all the cells that have a particular condition, all the cells that are not having a particular condition. Then count fill if is also counting with a particular condition. Then there's count blank. Let's see how that works. You have this database, for example, and you want it to count. All you need to do is to enter your count function, and then you tell it to count. If you just tell it to count, it will count the cells that have character. The cells that have character. To tell you 15 cells have character here. So they are all 15 cells. So if I remove this one, it will tell me only 14 cells have character. If I now remove this one, it will tell me 13 cells only have character in. If I put in Q, this in here, it will not recognize it, right? Because it is an alphabet. So it counts only cells that have numbers inside it. So let's see what others will do. So apart from count, have count A. The count A, as it said there, counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Number of cells that are not empty. So whether they are numbers or values, it counts the ones that are not empty. So you pick again. So you close up, and then you have cells that are not empty. So if we have A, B, C here, what does it do? It counts it to, remember the other one that is count alone, counts only number of cells that are figures. But this one counts number of cells that are not empty, so it includes both alphanumeric characters in its count. That is a count A. It counts both alphanumeric characters for cells that are not empty. Then we now have count empty or count if. Let's do the count if. So the count if tells you counts that have certain characters. For example, we want to count only those that are negative. So we stop here, and then we give it the condition. The condition, we can say most of the time they want that condition to be an absolute condition. You don't have to define it. You can say, let me see whether it will work when you say greater than 1. Greater than 1. Cells that are greater than 1, it will not accept. So you can say cells that are, let's say, 150 or minus 150. So how many minus 150 do we have? It will count how many minus 150 we have in the cells, right? But you can, all these things, you can manipulate them. Let's say, for example, now, I think we can put in brackets, say, cells that are greater than, let me see where it works, greater than 150. See, it doesn't accept. It must be an absolute cell. It must not be the one that is having an inabsolute number. So you can say, okay, how many 171s? 171s are in this count. There are 5171. So it helps you to count based on a particular condition. If I put A, B here, and I put another A, B here, and you now tell him, okay, count how many A, B. So you can also use it for what? Count how many A, Bs we have in that cell, right? It will count the number of A, Bs. I lost my data. Sorry, please. To locate my data. Okay, let's go back to our data. So that is how the count works. Is the data I was using that have A, B, and others. Let's return it. Okay, this is the place here. So if I come over here and say if you count all that have A, B, A, B, let's see what happens. It says 2. So when you are putting letters or alphabets, you must put invited quotes. If not, it will not work. Put invited quotes on them, then it will count. So if you have names in a sheet and you want him to count how many names are appearing, it can be used to count how many of the names are appearing in particular column. So for example now, I can drag here and tell him to count if it is Abia. Sorry, count if in brackets, count starting from here and then count out all that are Abia, right? Abia gives you this. So there are 12 Abias inside here. So we look at count if, count cells that are not empty, then count with condition. All right, so what next do we go into? There's another very important part of the advanced Excel called is number search. Is number search. Use it to search for words in a particular set of data. If that particular word exists, if that particular data exists, it will bring it out. It is called is number search. The is number, like we have in our narration here, is number and search function in Excel are commonly used together to determine if a specific substring exists. Is number looks for number and then returns true value, while search looks for word string and return if that word string is available to return the word string. Let's see how it works. Let's see how it works and if it will work for us in what we are about to do now. So let's say, for example, I would like to take the is number formula from here direct. So if you want to do it, let's say you have these values here and you want to use its number to find out whether there's a particular cell available, particular word available inside the cell. So you come over here and you say is number, right? And then you say search. Now, what do you want to search inside a set of database? This is a set of database in this cell, right? What word do you want to search and know whether it is here? Let's say you want to search for the word for, and know whether for is there. So I'm going to put in here for, type for, and then I put in comma, and then after that, I will tell it what to do. So for in which cell, in this cell, inside this cell, right? Then I will close my bracket and I'll now tell it what to do. If that is available, tell me that. So it depends on what you want. I can tell you, okay, you can say available. Or you can say not available. You can even tell it to return the cell value, right? So no error there. Okay, let's stop here and see what it gives us at this point. So it will just return that true, right? But The true here, I think there's a way you can do this true to make it to be either 1 or 0. Let me see. Comma sign here. Stanley is true because there is. Okay. So let's do it this way. You can say if in brackets this guy is equal to true. So you trick Excel in this equals to true. Then say available. Otherwise, say not available. You see? So that's how to trick it. So if, for example, we want the things we want to be here, so you can decide to remove this for and replace it with a cell where you want the word you want to be there. So this is not available. If I say for, is for available in that? So you say not available, but in this cell where we are, let's see where we are picking. Let me pick the one down. It's saying for is not available. Let's see whether that's true. Maybe because the for is not properly spelled. Space for and then keep space. Not still available, right? So what is available? It's saying for is not available. Let's see payment. Payment. If you want to see how it works. Saying payment is not available. But I say spell the payment correctly. Payment still not available. Payment. But if I put the payment inside here now, say in brackets payment, it be available? Say not available. So you must spell it the way it is, and if there is a space, let's say small space here. Sorry, should be a small space in front. So what makes it available before? So true. For was it picking? For is there. Search for the word for, and because for is there, is true, right? Search for the word payment. Okay, let me see what I did. It is equals to true, then available. It's true, it should be available. Otherwise, take note that if this or the whole of this something. Okay, so it should take available when it is true, because the query is true. You use it to search for the availability of a particular word in a query. Let me remove all this and see. That is a very stubborn the if is available is true. So if I now, if you say is true, and I change here to payment, that should be true, right? Because there's the word payment in here where it is speaking the formula. There is payment. Let me just put the word apple. See what will happen. Apple, false. So that's what we are talking about. And if, for example, you decide to bring this apple out and put it in here, it will tell you false, right? So let me put, because that place is empty, it's supposed to be false. If I now put payment there, what happens? It's true. So, okay, there's an empty space. If I put apple, it's false. There's no apple in that collection, right? So it's now left for how you manipulate it, how you be able to manipulate this. I think this should be manipulated further, normally by adding available. I don't know why it's not working right now. And then not available. Should you look for if looking for that word? See, Apple is not available. So we got it. Take note of how it works. So if I search for another word, let me now put payments available. You understand? So sometimes some of these formulas get hazy wire, but you need to have them and struggle with them until you get what you want. So this is now the perfect way of expressing it. And how important is this particular one? The importance is that you can use it to know in a set of data if certain informations are available. Let's assume you have the name of people in this and you want to know whether they are available in the sheet. Then you can use this query, right? Is number search to find out whether they are available. All you need to do is to start with if and put is number search, then bring out the word, reference the word, and then you get what you want. Let me do it again. Want to look for the following words, right? Want to look for apple, want to look for payment, payment, want to look for, sorry, payment, want to look for if they are available in our database. So we'll start with its number, right? And then we bring in search, and then we go to the cell we want to look for, and then we pick the cell where the database is, right? Maybe here, and then we close the bracket. This will only bring out true or false, but because we want to tell it how the information it will bring out will look like, we start with if and put everything in brackets, come over here to comma, right? And then go ahead and say available, comma, not available, and then close. available, not available, then we close. This should be it. Not sure why it continues to resist. There's something we are not doing. So if, see if I can put, okay, I can see what we did correctly. Is it the bracket that we didn't put well? If is number, search this cell, then search from cell C6 and see if you see the word apple. Apple is not in that cell. So it's the same thing we are doing here, right? We close the bracket in there. We said first of all start with is number, then search, then you bring in the cell, bring in the reference point, and then you close. This one will give you a true or false view, right? Then you now use if function. Okay, so there should be a comma here first. Then have available, and then not available. Now we have dwelled in this place because it's very important. You know why the space is actually available, but if I bring in apple here, apple is not available in this cell, right? But space is available. Let's say that comma is available. Comma is not available. But of course, let's say that you can choose apple. It's not available. But payment is available. So this is very important because it can help you to deal with words inside a cell. Words inside a cell. And you can decide to use 1, 2, or 3 to convert qualitative data to quantitative data. If I use 1 here, it's available, it is 1. If it's not available, it is 0. By so doing, if the word payment appears, it becomes 1. And because payment is 1, payment has been converted from qualitative variable to a quantitative variable, and I can use it to manipulate that. I can know the number of time that payment is appearing in that particular cell, and I can tell you, okay, in this data we have 250 payments, the word payment in this data. So this is the importance of that. Now the last but not the least in this particular section B, the next section we'll be looking at VLOOKUP, but let me quickly show you how to use concatenate. There's a word called concatenate. That is what we use to close this class. Concatenate is used to bring both words and figures together, and even comments. Let's assume I have a remark here and I want to concatenate. I can just press say equal to and say concatenate to bring words together, and I'll say okay, touch the word refreshment first and tell me that how much was spent on refreshment in January. I can say 300,000, 300K was was spent in January, comma 500K in February, and blah 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 continuously. Then I can say Total total is, then I close and add sum. So you see what concatenate can do? It can bring a lot of numeric and non-numeric values together and even perform arithmetic inside. You see, it writes a full sentence using the data available. Refreshment 300k was spent in January, February, total is this. So look at how all this work. See, what we are trying to do is not really to dwell too much on how these formulas are, but how we can use them in future as we are doing our macros, as we are doing our VBAs. They are very, very important. So just take note of them, spend some time and practice them. And then when we come in our next class, this time around will be slower, will not be very fast because we got a lot of feedback that very fast, slower, and we'll be able to provide all the necessary understanding we need to macros. So when we come next, we'll be looking at how to use VLOOKUP.